There's this phenomenon that I've been investigating for a while, and I've taken to calling them the Watchers, because it's almost as if they're observing us, they're watching us. Now, this is something different than UFOs. I've investigated hundreds of UFO cases, but this is something completely different. And I've had personal encounters with this, as well as hundreds and thousands of other people. Now, my encounter started when I was working third shift, and I was driving home one night when I got this feeling like I was being watched. And all of a sudden I looked out my passenger side window, and up in the sky I seen this strange blue light. And it's almost as if it was sort of following the car. And it looked like a star, but it was moving, and it was like it was following the car. And it was also pulsating. And it almost seemed like it was pulsating in different sequences. And it was very strange because it felt like it followed me for a while, and then it just kind of vanished. Several weeks after this, I was at my house, and I got this feeling once again like I was being watched. And it's almost as if I knew they were there. And I looked out the window, and I seen this light up in the sky. And it was the same blue light. And it was sort of just doing strange maneuvers in the sky. And it felt like they were watching me. And it almost gave me this menacing feeling. And it disturbed me so much that I actually called a friend and had to talk to him to calm me down, because it made me feel very uncomfortable. And this has happened throughout my life, where I've had this instances of me feeling like I'm being watched. And you look out the window and you see this strange light that looks like a star, that appears like a star, but also is moving, is pulsating, looks different from the other stars. And you realize that it's not a star. And what's interesting is my grandmother, who, when she tells me something, I listen, because she's not the kind to joke with you, and she's very trustworthy. And my grandmother told me that about 60 years ago, when she was a younger girl, she was sleeping in her room, and she had this feeling she was being watched. She looked out the window and seen this ball-shaped orb of blue light, and it came down from the sky, and she said it came into her window, and as she's laying in her bed, it sort of hovered over her, and then went back out the window and left. And it's pretty interesting, because she doesn't tell me stories like this. She doesn't believe in these kind of things. She doesn't believe in the paranormal. So when she told me this, I was kind of shocked, because I'd never heard her talk of anything like this. And it makes me believe that she had an encounter with the same exact thing that I've been encountering through the years. And I feel like several other people have encountered the same thing, and it's very odd, because they almost appear as stars in the sky. They look just like stars, but they're a little bit different because they sort of move. They're not stationary, and you see them like pulsating lights, and it's almost like they're trying to communicate with you, and you get this feeling like they're watching you or observing you. And it's almost like sometimes they come on a regular basis, and I feel like I'm not exactly sure what their purpose is, but this is something different than UFOs almost. It's like they're something entirely different, and I can't exactly explain what they are, because with UFOs, it seems like there's sort of these craft, and they're visiting Earth, and they seem to just sort of disappear. But this is like, it's almost like these UFOs, they try to evade people. But whatever this phenomenon is, it doesn't care about being seen. It wants to be seen. It's trying to be seen. And it's almost as if it's watching us, trying to maybe even possibly communicate. And I know that sounds crazy to think about, because, you don't want to get into, hey, aliens are talking to you in your head or something like that. But this is a phenomenon where I feel like something is going on people are experiencing things, and maybe you've experienced something like this. And if you had, feel free to comment and talk about this more, because this is sort of a fascinating subject, and I think this is something that not a lot of people have been researching. And I think we've been looking at UFOs specifically as extraterrestrial craft, and these craft that just move through the sky very in strange maneuvers. But these things are just entirely different, and it almost gives an eerie, sort of menacing vibe, as if whatever this is, it's sort of dark and ominous. It doesn't seem very friendly. It doesn't seem like it's something that's here to help us. It seems like it's almost sinister in nature, and it's just very bothersome when I think about it. And but this is something that I think warrants further investigation and that we need to look into. But I'm curious if you guys have had experiences like this. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe if you follow my channel. But this is definitely something that I've often wondered about. What is going on with this?